Oh, it looks like your audio is still connecting. We'll give it about 10 seconds. Generally speaking, people can hear me about 10 seconds before. Oh, I think I can hear you now.
Yep.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? Hang on a second. I'm gonna get my earbuds in so I can hear you a little bit better. I'm outside watching my kid jump on his trampoline.
Sure.
Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime.
Are you there?
I am.
Okay. How you doing, Sean?
Fabulous, sir.
So I kind of was, I found you guys on Facebook and kind of started watching all your all's videos and kind of testimony videos, and kind of saw and realized really quickly that at first it was almost kind of sounding too good to be true, but as I keep looking into it, it's obviously it's a real deal that's in dire need of, you know, people to do what you guys are doing. But to kind of go back to tell a little bit about myself. I mean, I'm only 33 years old. I've kind of been in the construction off and on since I was probably 17. Started from welding and sheet metal manufacturing and everything, and did a little bit of plumbing, electrical, and now I've kind of specialized myself in residential and light commercial HVAC. I don't currently own a business or anything like that. Don't have a contracting license. But I mean, right now I hold a position in an HVAC manager, and really I wear probably, 4 or 5 different hats within the small family-owned business where I live in Sonora, California. And I pretty much deal with the majority of being an estimator, an HVAC designer, working sales, overseeing all of our projects and installations, and also juggling, servicing and stuff like that. So, I'm building my experience. I'm building my experience in everything, as quickly but successfully as possible. But I'm breaking my back at the same time. You know what I mean? And just continue as I get deeper and deeper into it. I keep finding myself slowly taking more time away from my family and the life aspect of all of that, and which is where I led to finding. I mean, I ultimately previously I wanted to find myself eventually owning my own company and pretty much making everything to what I feel it should be, but at the same time owning a business in the residential or light commercial world isn't always as profitable as employees always seem it is, or you know what I'm saying.
I do.
So I really appreciate you taking the time too. I can, I really found that you guys are obviously the real deal just because of how quick and responsive you guys are with all of this. So I do highly appreciate that. And I guess my first question is going to be for someone like myself, how do I go about doing all of this? Do I technically have to have a business? What kind of license do I have to have or anything like that other than being SAM registered, or, what all goes into all this?
Yep. Okay. Is it my turn now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm very familiar with the HVAC business. When I started in federal government construction around 1992-ish or 3-ish, my dad, the first thing he did was he sent me to the Carrier School up in Syracuse, New York, for a 6 weeks class on refrigeration. Now, I've never had a refrigeration license of any kind, but my dad understood then and understands now that air conditioning is kind of a big deal. And my kid's going to understand how refrigeration works. And that has served me well over the years in this business because just the simple refrigeration cycle is knowledge that most of the public doesn't have, and it applies to so many things. Just the simple refrigeration cycle. And then when you start getting into replacing chillers and rooftop units, you can speak intelligently to people like you, for instance. If I needed two 12-ton package rooftop units replaced in Sonora, California, I could call you guys. I could sell the job for $110,000 and have you guys do it for $60,000, and we'd all have a good day. And I just made $60,000 in 2 hours of time having a phone call with you.
Yeah.
So that has served me well over the years. And I expect that it would fully serve you well over the years in this business, because you're already way ahead of. It's like you saw in the opportunity video, right? There's 25,000 registered federal contractors. Now, I have done millions upon millions of dollars of air conditioning type work over the years. I've never had a refrigeration license. I've never had a license of any kind other than a driver's license. And if you look carefully at the first email we sent you, did you see that? The Jeff Soapy Museum?
Yes, I did. I did, actually. In Alaska.
That was a 3-ton air conditioner, no heat, with a little bit of ductwork. We sold it for $107,000.
Yeah, that's money screaming to my ear.
Yeah. So we are the guys that teach guys like you how to bid, find, perform, do all this work all across the country. The process is simple. You're going to need a company, either a corporation or an LLC. I don't know necessarily that you'd want to do it in California because they have state income taxes on companies there. You might want to register it in Nevada or some other state, maybe even Texas. But you'd have to get with my wife and ask her those questions, because that's not really my purview. That's not my expertise. But my wife is an expert at all that kind of stuff. She's a bookkeeper, and she does all the SAM registrations for guys coming into our program. But beyond that, the simplicity of it is you go through my course, you get SAM registered, and you start bidding on these contracts all across the country. And then, typically about 90 days after you go through the workshop and you're performing the way I, teach you to perform, you, generally speaking, about 80% of the guys get their first contract within 90 days. It's happened within 5 days, it's happened within 5 months, but generally speaking, everybody who sticks with it starts getting federal contracts.
Now, is this something where I would be doing it under y'all's company, or basically you would just train me and give me all the resources and set me out on my own?
That's the idea. But then we have a membership program after the class. It's totally voluntary, but everybody joins it. It's $600 a month, but what that gets you is me side by side with you, working with you towards getting federal contracts. But it also includes bid tracker. Did you see that in the ad video?
Yes.
That was the thing where I click sync. This thing.
Yeah.
These are all. Yep. This is the tool we use to find that Jeff Soapy Museum.
Okay.
So it's called Bid Tracker. It costs us $25,000 a month to operate that thing, and we distribute those costs across our members.
And that's the membership that you would basically get to get that program?
Correct.
Okay, and then it's what, the $700 for all of the training workshop and everything?
The workshop is $5,000.
$5,000. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the SAM registration is $700, and the membership program's about $600 a month.
Okay, and then just the workshop training is a one-time fee of the $5,000.
It is, and it looks like this. I don't know if you saw any of the videos. This is exactly this is the workshop.
And then put the BIG over the opportunities. Big problems equal big opportunities. If somebody needs
10 hours the first day,
something.
11 hours the second day,
And they really
7
need it.
hours the
They're
third.
desperate to get it done.
So that's part of day one right
You
there.
understand?
They terminate
Here's
the
part of
contract
day
for
two.
convenience. What are you entitled to? On termination of convenience, you're entitled to costless overhead and profit. That's well-established contract law. Okay? So he sends in a $25,000 change order, and the government immediately, I mean within an hour,
And here's
issued
part
a
of day three.
termination for convenience.
Do you remember me saying that the rule was if there's only one bidder, and that bidder
Now, when we did
is
these
15%
live, it
or
was
more
a
above the
3-day
government
workshop. You know, we did
they
it on
cannot
Wednesday,
award
Thursday,
the contract.
Friday.
Why
But now
does
it's
our
all
government
video
in
format.
their
When you
infinite
invest
wisdom
with us,
have that rule?
this is what it literally looks like. When you
Okay.
hit the purchase button, it redirects you to this page. So you have day one, day two, day three, and you can pause it and back up and replay it. And if you have questions, you can pause it and we'll jump in here and I'll get up on the whiteboard and I'll explain to you how things work. And if you have questions about paperwork, I'll hit this button over here and I'll show you how to fill out the paperwork. And we're really set up here to launch guys into the federal market.
Okay. Now, would you guys be able to assist me with because I've never owned a business, never, don't really know anything like that. You guys offer help as far as directing me in the proper approach to do it all, or
Absolutely.
is that something that you guys?
I would
Okay.
never abandon somebody that's in my program. I will. In fact, I tell people, if you don't know what to do, call me. I will tell you what to do.
Okay. Okay. So basically, go ahead.
Look, part of the reason that you can't find any negative shit about me on the internet is because, I won't let somebody fail in my program. There's no way that I'm going to allow somebody to fail. That you're going to follow my instructions. You're going to call me. We're going to talk about things. Everything. Look, there's no secrets in this, or I don't want to say secrets. There are secrets in this business, but there's no magic. Okay, everything that we do in this business can be figured out. I mean, I know it looks like pure magic when you turn on a chiller and it starts, cooling water down, or you put glycol in there and you can get water down below 30 degrees. I know that looks like magic, but smart people understand what's happening there. Okay?
Yeah.
And there is no magic in this business. Everything can be explained. And I'm a damn good teacher.
Okay, I appreciate that. So basically, the first thing I need to start off with would be the
Get with my wife
workshop.
and get No, I say get with
no.
my wife and get your company started, get that going, and
Okay.
then invest in the training. Not after, but while she's doing it, so that you can meet at the other side and be ready to go.
Okay. And
That's why we have this thing on here. When you go to the actual page to invest with us, I think it's this page. It is. So on this page, you can check the checkbox right here and add her SAM registration right at the checkout. And when you hit go here, it redirects you to this page. But it also emails you your SAM registration packet and everything, gives you my wife's phone number and all that stuff, and that process gets going.
Okay, and then that would all be dealt with your wife for the SAM registration, get my business and everything started going, and then after that point, then it would become workshop time, basically.
Yep.
Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I said yes.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, it's not any more complicated than that. But you have my next meeting isn't for like 3 hours. You have all the time. You got a guy here who's done $1 billion worth of work for the federal government. I don't want to rush you.
No, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I mean, well, being as fresh into the business world, I guess you would say, because I mean, I'm not trying to claim that, I know everything. I'm far from that. But, so I'm kind of trying to think of the questions I want to ask. The main real question was just trying to figure out, the whole business side of it with having to basically start my own business. Now, you were saying to mainly do it for like another state other than California because of the taxes and everything like that. Now, is that something to where I could just start is it like a limited liability type of business or really any type of business?
You can start an LLC or a corporation, and the only reason I suggest not doing it in California is just for the state income taxes on the income. Look, evading taxes is illegal. Avoiding taxes is legal.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. Okay, so and it could realistically just be a business with me and my wife basically is the only people dealing with all these contracts and subcontracting it out.
Absolutely, no question about it. You're gonna learn that ad nauseum in the workshop, right? Big time.
Okay, so that all is okay. So basically, I start the business, get my SAM registration, and then you guys pretty much teach me everything else that there is that is needed to be known.
I don't talk about it a lot outside of the workshop, but inside the workshop, I do talk about it. So let me tell you what I talk about in the workshop. When my brother's accident happened, my dad and I were doing a whole bunch of federal work. We had jobs that were open all over the country. And I started calling the contracting officers and telling them that we needed termination for conveniences. Like, we had a major family trauma that needed our full attention, and I was scared that they were going to just start defaulting our contracts and turning everything into real bad stuff. So I was working closely with a bunch of people closing things down so that we could focus on Ryan. In the meantime, I started a new company, and again, I talk about this in the workshop, but I don't normally talk about this outside the workshop. But my brother and I had realized the dream of owning houses next door to each other. And we were living 2 doors down from each other when his accident happened. And we built that brain rehab center in his house. But I wanted to be available anytime they needed me. So I was running a new company out of my home, working about 4 hours a week, and making $25,000 profit per month. And I describe in great detail in the workshop how I did that.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a dream, to be honest, from where I'm standing, So, okay. So basically, for me, how would I go through the next step as far as setting that up with your wife?
You just go to this checkout page, click the button, and it's all. I mean, we make things so easy, it's just ridiculous. Just people have to get over that hump. I'm giving these guys a lot of money. Am I going to get the value? And I can't make that decision for people. I can only keep providing evidence.
Yeah. Which there's a lot of. Okay. And what's that website? Just the GCExperts.com?
Yeah.
Or?
No, I keep it hidden so that I have conversations with people before they just go out there and just start giving me money, because I like to know people and make, like as an example, I had a guy on Zoom the other day, and I could just tell we weren't a match. Like, this guy wasn't going to be successful. And so I did not send him the link at the end of the Zoom. I just said, if you have any more questions, let me know.
Yeah, no, I hear it.
So hold on just 1 second, and I'll get that for you.
Okay.
There it is.
There you go, buddy. Okay, so that link there is to go there and the basic checkout that you were talking about?
Yep, that's the investment link right there.
Okay. Okay.
And
And then it's go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, just to kind of recap, I know I keep asking the same questions, but now this initial one is for the SAM registration and with your wife and everything or do I pay all of it up at once for the workshop and the SAM
It's the registration and the workshop. It's one investment link. You have to click the checkbox to add the SAM because some people call me and they're already SAM registered. They just don't know what to do now. And I go, well, I'm the guy that teaches you what to do now. So not everybody needs the SAM registration, but in your case you do. And then that's it. That's the initial cost. Then you go through the workshop. And, you know, I offer you that. I don't know if you found my other videos on YouTube where I say, look, if at the end of the 3 days, if for any reason or no reason at all you want your money back, just call me. I'll give you your money back. This isn't some kind of scam where I'm trying to just pull $5,000 out of people's pockets. But I record all these. This is recorded. You're more than welcome to have a copy of it. And that's the deal.
Okay. Now, as far as this might be a little bit out of your knowledge, because you're saying your wife usually deals with the majority of, you know, the business side aspects or all of that. Now, again, because I said that, you know, I've never owned a business or anything like that. Do you happen to know like what all that part would entail? Like, is it going to cost me? Or
yeah, I think it's $300 to create an LLC.
Really, that's it. That's crazy.
Yeah, not expensive.
Okay, and then as far as that, you know, you have to have like insurance to cover, you know, the company and everything.
But I tell people don't buy insurance until you get your first contract because you don't need insurance to bid a contract. Have you seen my videos on RFQs, requests for quotes?
No.
Oh, jeez. You got time for this?
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right. Do you have the ability to Google something while we're still on this call?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to Google something. Can you see that? FAR. F-A-R.
Yeah, I see that. 004.
Yeah, 13, FAR 13.004A. Now, what FAR stands for is Federal Acquisition Regulations. This is the rule book that the government plays by. And it works for all the agencies, IRS, Bureau of Land Management, National Park Service, Post Office, Army, Navy. You know, this rule book covers all the federal government construction. Okay, it's the laws associated, it's the acquisition regulations, the laws, the rule book. Okay, but I want you to Google one specific FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulation 13.004A. What's the title of that?
Legal effect of quotations.
Okay, legal effect. So this is the law associated with your bids that you turn in, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, I want you to read the first sentence and then stop.
So a quotation is not an offer and consequently cannot be accepted by the government to form a binding contract.
Stop right there. Okay? A quote is not an offer and can't be turned into a contract. That means that when you turn in a bid to the government, they can't turn it into a contract. Period. That's different than the real world, right? I mean, in the real world, if you ask me to, Sean, I need a quote to build a small house, and I give you a quote for $100,000, and I sign it, and I give it to you, and you sign it, what do we now have?
Yeah, you're in contract.
We're in a contract. But in the federal government, a quote can't be turned into a contract. Read the next sentence.
Therefore, issuance by the government of an order in response to the supplier's quotation does not establish a contract.
So what that means is, if they screw up and they turn your quote into a contract, it's null and void. Isn't that the plain English explanation of what that says?
Yeah, pretty much.
It sure is. Now, I want you to read the rest out loud.
The order is an offer by the government to the supplier to buy certain supplies or services upon specified terms and conditions. A contract is established when the supplier accepts the offer.
Okay, now look, all this stuff, these laws, these governing regulations by the government, they're written by attorneys in Congress. So plain old people like you and me, we don't necessarily understand what that means. So let me explain that to you in plain English. What that means is I take that quote for $100,000 to build that house and I give it to the government. Now they have to give it back to me and say, will you please accept this offer that you gave us as a contract? They have to ask back. That's what that says. Now, when they do ask back, you have 4 options. Number 1, you can accept. Number 2, you can withdraw. Number 3, you can negotiate. And number 4, you can stall for more time. Now, my question to you is, if one of your options is that you can withdraw every bid that you ever turned in, how many should you be bidding?
Ask that again real quick. I didn't catch the beginning of that question.
If they can't turn it into a contract, every bid that you turn in, and one of your options is that you can withdraw your bid for every bid you ever turned in, how many should you be bidding?
Well, I'm not sure.
Well, the answer is all of them. Because if you can turn in bids, turn a bid.
Oh, yeah. No, I see what you're saying now.
And they can't turn it into a contract. They have to ask you to accept the deal. And one of your options is, I'm busy. I withdraw my bid.
Yeah, the only thing stopping you at that point is opportunity. Yeah, all of them.
All of them, okay? Now, let's take some scenarios. Instead of a $100,000 house, let's just say it's 3 rooftop package units, 16 ton, okay? And so I turned a bid in for $100,000, and then I call you, and I say, hey, Anthony, my name's Sean. I'm a national federal contractor. I do everything from wind tunnels, water treatment plants, to kitchen renovations. I'm calling you today because I found this job that's got 3 rooftop package units, 16 ton. Need the old ones pulled off with a crane. It's on a 3-story building. I need you to supply and put the new ones on the roof. And Anthony, look, I don't win every job that I bid. So I just want you to give me an off-the-cuff price, something that if I called you 90 days from today and said, hey man, I got the job, that we'd be close enough to negotiate something that makes sense. Now what I want you to do is understand that when I looked at that job, let's just say when I looked at the Jeff Soapy Museum, I went like this. Are you looking at me closely?
Oh yeah.
I went, $107,000. Okay. Now, for these 3 rooftop units, I went $100,000. Okay, because they can't turn it into a contract. I can withdraw. So now I'm calling a real guy, you Anthony. Now you tell me how much for those. Give me 3 different scenarios. How much for the 3 rooftop units installed?
Well, I mean, sight unseen, I'd probably say in like the ballpark of 40 to 45,000 a piece.
Okay, so if you told me that number and I just turned it in for 100,000, what might I call and do? Accept.
Yeah, accept and negotiate. Yeah.
Okay. Now give me another scenario. How much for the 3 rooftop units?
30,000.
Okay, I might call and accept. Give me the other scenario, the one that worries you.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so I'd probably say 60.
Think
No.
bigger, my friend. Suppose
Think
I
bigger.
call you up and I say 3 rooftop units, and you say that'd be 150,000, and my bid was for 100,000. What might I do?
Oh, at that point, you'd probably negotiate, right?
Or,
Withdraw, yeah.
okay, oh shit,
Okay.
screwed that one up. I just want to get out of it. I withdraw. Okay.
Yeah.
Now give me the other scenario. I turned it in for 100, and the scenario comes in. I need 100,000 to do all 3 of those units. I might negotiate. I might say, hey, suppose I need to change my bid to 140,000. What would happen then? I enter into negotiations. Or things are all fucked up. I might stall for more time.
Just do a little research, a little more research, or
Okay,
speaking
so
with that
look, I'm not
subcontractor, yeah.
spending a bunch of time putting my bids together, and that's why, part of the reason why my clients are so successful, because they're just turning in a lot of bids, and then waiting for that phone call, and then doing the research, making sure they've got a good spread between what they turn the bid in and what they can get it done for. How much of your time do you really need to do that?
Hardly any, because that's usually one of my biggest issues with how I currently do it is I spend so much time making sure that I'm checking every single box, accounting for
That's because
the
you're
dollar
living
for
in the
every
real
nut.
world. That's because Jesus Christ, the margins are so slim because we got a bunch of Anthonys out there working their little numbers. And look, most people in the construction industry, and you are in the construction industry, okay, will work for between $20 and $250 an hour. Okay? If I called you up and said, hey, we've got this rooftop package unit deal in Austin, Texas, and I'll give you $250 an hour to come consult on the job, would you do that for 40 hours?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? But there's some people in the construction industry that are making thousands an hour, but nobody's telling anybody else how to do that.
Okay.
I'm the guy.
I got you. Well, I mean, if that's not any motivation, I don't know what would be for somebody.
Well, what you just got is 10 minutes of training of 27 hours of training.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that because I know not everybody wants to give out any secrets, but so for free at least. Well, I appreciate that, man. I really don't know what other questions to ask at this point, other than, you know, I need to just start making plans and getting myself involved in it as quickly as I can.
Well, I'm here for you, man.
All right, well, I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate you taking the call today.
Yeah, you bet.
All righty. Well, if I have any other questions or anything like that, I can just shoot you a message.
Shoot me a text. I answer texts really fast.
All right, I appreciate that, Sean.
Okay, Anthony.
All right, you take care, buddy.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.